So Javier, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Talk by Sports Paddock. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks to you, Sunaina.
Yes.
Thanks.
So just to give a brief introduction about you before we jump into our questions, you are a UEFA Pro licensed football coach, and you started your career as a futsal player in Spain, and you had played the highest national level in youth competitions. And then when you started going to college, you began coaching some schools in futsal teams, as well as working as a football analyst at Opta Sports for 7 years. Then in 2012, you joined a football academy project in Bangalore, SPT Sports, along with another Spanish coach. And then you took on another project and joined a Sporting Club de Goa as an assistant coach. A lot of things in India you've done, and where you joined the first team in I-League, right? As the head of youth department. So it must have been an interesting project as well. We'll definitely dive into that. And then you moved to Assam to head the NRL Football Academy project, where you spent a couple of seasons. It must have been a very interesting time for you. Exactly. And after this, you trained at the CF Rayo Majadahonda under 16 team in Spain. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah. Majadahonda is the... Majadahonda.
Majadahonda. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Excuse my Spanish.
No worries.
Yeah, and then again, you went back to Spain and then joined the Barca Academy in Virginia, USA for the summer of 2008, right? 18. Yes. And then finally in September in 2018, you joined the La Liga Football School in India as the technical director till 2020.
Yes, till October 20.
Yes, after which you again then joined Deportivo Alves as a coach of the Elite Academy as a head of International Academy program.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a mouthful of things that you've done. I don't think I've touched everything that you've done, but you have clearly...
My career.
You've traveled a lot, like all around the world, I'm sure, and you have a lot to say about India and international quality. So we'll dive into the first question about you as a football player, having played for so long and at various competitive levels. What made you want to switch to coaching and even diversify into analytics in Opta Sports?
Yes, well, as you said, when I was in my youth career as a footballer, I got to play in some of the best teams in Madrid, especially where I'm born. And then I also had the chance to play for the Madrid state team. But once I was 18 years old and I had the chance to go to college, I knew that I wanted to go for studies, and then I wouldn't have that enough dedication to go for professional. So that's why I changed to college. And once I was in college, I preferred to play as a more amateur level. And then I joined, I started coaching some school teams, juniors, and joined Opta Sport because it was a very cool job, let's say, because it was, I had the chance to study, and at the same time, this Opta Sports job was about analyzing matches from all the leagues in the world on the weekends. So,
so like a weekend part-time.
Exactly. So it was perfect. And it was a very good chance to meet a lot of people who work in football and at the same time to learn.
So what were you in charge of in the analytics team?
I was just an analyst. We were a department where we were around 25 analysts, young analyst people. And then we used to watch on the laptop different matches from Premier League, La Liga, Portuguese League, Greece, World Cups, everything. And then we used to use a software. We had to learn a software, and then through that software, we used to get all the data collection, which is now very, very popular in many professional clubs.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they give you a lot of insights into what is like the highlight of every game, what is important in every game, and I'm sure all that data crunching gave you a lot of perspective.
Yeah, we used to work especially for clubs. There was a lot of clubs that they wanted some specific data about some individual players or which kind of game they were doing in some specific matches or specific competitions.
Wow.
So yeah, we used to sell or to work with many clubs in La Liga, even with some clubs abroad that were trained by Spanish coaches. So, and also a lot with media, with TVs and television, with the press.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. And having played and worked and witnessed the football quality at a young age, at such a level abroad and in India, do you see India gradually progressing into an international quality, or do you think there's something that needs to be addressed first before we get there, or is it just like too far away for us to talk about that right now?
I always say the same. When I arrived to India in 2012, for me, there was a lot of things to improve, too many things to improve. And when I left India last year in 2020, I mean, the improvement from 2012 to 2020 is a huge improvement.
Really? Okay.
Huge improvement in terms of quality of coaches, in terms of quality of competitions, but still there's a really long way to go for India. But in my opinion, what India needs to go to get closer to other countries is to mainly to be more patient with the process, to understand that to become a big football country or any sports, a big team or a big nation in a sport, you need to believe in the process. You need to invest in a very long-term program that is going to give you success after maybe 15 to 20 years. And what I believe is that in India, many times, and in many countries, but especially in India, because I have experienced that, is that everyone wants the results in 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
You to get the results, or no, we are going to go. The objective is to go to World Cup 2022. That's, I mean,
Which is
India
not
needs to
possible
be
right
more
now.
realistic. They are doing the things well. I think that, for example, when I arrived, there was a huge problem with the quality of the coach education programs, and I think the All Indian Football Federation have done a quite good job in that. And I have seen many Indian coaches, youth, especially young coaches, that are getting a quite interesting level of coaching. Also with the competitions, I think with the competitions, there were a huge problem for me, that especially in juniors, and now with the baby leagues, for example, that All India Football Federation is running, I think it's another big step. But still, I think India needs to be a little bit more patient and invest in a long-term youth development program.
Absolutely. But do you think there is a sector that needs more attention as compared to the others for us, or do you think India is doing a right mix of, giving attention to grassroots, management, infrastructure? Do you think that we need more of something to help fasten the process, or even to go with the process smoother?
As I was saying before, for me, there were three things, especially, which is investing in grassroots, investing in training the coaches, and also the infrastructure. As I told you before, the coach education programs are getting better. Still, there's a long way to go, but I think India is in the good way, in the good track, according to that. In grassroots, again, I think things like baby league, we are seeing under 13, under 15 junior leagues. We are seeing many football federations that are starting to run proper junior competitions. And when I mean competitions, I don't mean tournaments where kids need to win or lose, but competitions that give game time
exposure?
to the kids. Yeah, exposure and game time for the kids to get used to play every weekend. I'm not talking about winning or losing. I'm not
just getting exposed to the game and learning, basically.
Exactly. That in that way you are going to get a much more fan base, no? A lot of kids that want to play every weekend, and that's the way we have been doing for our whole life in Spain and many other European countries. And then, so in those two ways, I think India is going forward, but in the infrastructure matter, I think there's a huge problem because, for example, in Bangalore, where I used to live for a long time, it's a 8-9 million people population city where you have 4, 5, 11-a-side football grounds, or 5 or 6. And then they are very expensive to rent. So all the academies who really want, small academies who want to run a proper program, they don't have the funds to rent a proper ground. So I think football associations and government needs to help those who really want to work properly.
Yeah, that way, infrastructure, I think they are taking it into consideration. I mean, we have built a ground. Oh, hello? Javier, can you hear me? Yeah, your video is stuck. Hello? Javier? Hello?
So
yeah,
we need to start again, or
no, not at all. No, so I was just continuing your point where you spoke about how India, especially Bangalore, needs more football grounds. But we recently have built an artificial turf, which is of international standards, and it's going to be approved as well. So slowly, we are taking steps. But I've noticed that this is something that metropolitan cities have taken into consideration. But take it that when you were in Assam and when you were the head of the NRL Football Academy project, what was that experience like? Because I don't think football is as popular over there, or are they taking equal steps? Like, is there a big margin over there when you were a part of that team?
It was, for me, probably it was the best experience in India, because it was a social project, a CSR project by a oil refinery from the government, NRL, and they have a lot of, they run a lot of social projects, and one of them is this residential football academy. And what I found there is there was a lot of talent, a lot of kids that were really, that they have good talent to do something in football with a proper football training program.
Really?
And but also obviously the infrastructure was a huge problem, because this was not even in Guwahati. It was in a very small town or very small village, like 300-400 kilometers away from.
Oh my God.
From,
but so how did you manage that then?
Well, I used to live there and there was a compound for the employees of the refinery, which was quite comfortable, and I used to live there, and we ran a very nice project there. I was there around 2 years, but I was advising them from before too, so I knew the project, and it was like, it's again about the process. They were working in the same way, with the same kind of training methodology for 5-6 years. Wow. With different Spanish technical directors. All those Spanish technical directors, we knew each other from Spain, so we used to work in the same way. And it was a project that I saw growing from having 30 players. I think we started with 30 players and just playing school tournaments. Mm-hmm. And at the end, when I left from there, after 5-6 years of a Spanish project, I was there 2 years, but total Spanish training methodology. In the last season, we were playing under 15 and under 13 junior A leagues. 3 of our players were called by the under 16 national team for really? The camp in Kolkata. We started a girls program where we had 70 girls playing in villages in Assam. We started a feeder centers program where it was the main academy, residential academy, and when we started like a scouting program with 10 centers around, with 100 kids on each center, that was feeding the academy with 1,000 players. So we did a fantastic job there. So
for me, it was a fantastic job.
and this is still happening. And now they have built a new ground, and they have built a new hostel, and they are bringing players from all over Assam. It's quite a good project. For me, it's the most beautiful project in India from the ones that I know. It's a really nice one.
Yeah, this must have been a big break for you. I mean, to accomplish such a goal with so many men and, I mean, girls and boys playing. Now, you spoke about the highlights and what you achieved, but to get to that journey, were there any challenges? I mean, apart from the distance of the ground, but what are the other challenges that you faced?
For me in India at the beginning, it was, well, I needed to adapt. I knew that I had to adapt to a new culture, to a new country where everything was going to be different. But at the same time was very attractive to get used to all that and to yeah, a new culture, a new way of working. For me at the beginning, it was very difficult to adapt to people that many times was getting very late to the meetings, or kids that they well, in Assam, that they used to come to for practice late, or for practice without football shoes, or all these kind of things. But many times it was not their fault. It was, well, it's something that you need to understand in India. Well, maybe the transport is not the fault. It's not that they are late. It's that many other factors that can affect.
Yeah, there's so many factors. Being in Bangalore, you should have known traffic is like the ultimate factor for people to get late.
So, but anyways, for me, there were challenges that at the end were good experiences. I never had a very a bad experience in India. So for me, it was much more about good experiences than challenges.
Wow. But then okay, so you spoke about India right now, but what about when you were the director of the La Liga football school? Were there any challenges that you faced there of a different nature?
The challenge there was La Liga Football Schools was a huge project where we were running at the same time 40 centers with almost 4,000 kids in more than 15 different cities in India. So with more than 60 coaches. So the challenge there was to unify everything, to be able to create a training program that we had to run in the same way in 15 different cities at the same time. So for that, what we prioritized was to train and to educate our coaches in the program. So we did a very nice, the first season, we spent a lot, we invested a lot of time, a lot of resources in training our coaches, all of them Indian coaches that did a fantastic job, all of them.
Really? Wow.
They were actually the main actors of that project, and we got that because when we used to do the technical visits with our heads from Spain and all, we used to do 4 or 5 different cities, and what we realized is that we were having exactly the same training method and the same training program was being run. Maybe you went to a center in Delhi and was exactly the same kind of program that in a center in Bangalore or in a center in Mumbai or a center in Kerala. So, and that was that was because of the dedication and the commitment of the local coaches. Wow. Mainly. So that was yeah. La Liga Football Schools is a very
a lot of high pressure coming from that position, I'm sure.
The only problem was that we did so many things in 1.5 years, but then in March we needed to stop because of the COVID. So now it's not going to be easy to get back all that.
But actually, I'm glad you brought up pandemic, because I mean, during pandemic, when you have such a sport like football, which you can't necessarily do online, how did you manage to stay afloat? Did you develop new models for children to
For us, Zoom was the main tool. We created with La Liga Football Schools and our partner at that time, which was Indian Track. We created a fantastic Zoom, let's say, online training program, and then we started providing our kids, our players, weekly program by age groups, and for us it was the way to keep giving a service to our players for at least, I don't know, we maybe 4 or 5 months during the pandemic, and it worked well. And actually now in the project that I work in now in Deportivo Alavés, which is a La Liga first division team and a high performance structure, we right now we are also doing Zoom sessions with the kids. So I mean, if you want, you can do it.
So it's like an option. I mean, not all parents would be comfortable sending their kids directly to the club or coaching center. So
it's a
they
way to
can
keep
do it
the kids busy and doing something.
But was it hard adapting to an online form of training or online model, or was it quite smooth transition for you?
It is for us. It was hard for them. Some kids have a lot of space. Some of the kids don't have much space, so then they are not able to do all the exercises or the plans that you you plan. Then you always have the internet connection problems with some of them. So you need to live with that and adapt.
Standard problems, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but that's great. I mean, now that you had a learning and sort of adaptation in 2020, and now that we're in 2021 and you're back on your feet, what is the goal for 2021 for you and your team?
Yeah, well, for me is to I have joined this new project. I've been for 4 months working for Deportivo Alavés, and it's a very new experience for me because let's say that is the highest level of coaching in youth level, because it's high performance. It's an elite academy. We are training players to become professionals. So for me, it's a very big challenge to adapt, to be at the level as a coach. So for me, to try to learn as much as possible during this season, to adapt as fast as possible. And also with the other program that I'm heading, the International Academy, which is a new program, segment? a new project that we are starting.
Wow.
We are going to start to bring players from abroad to here to Vitoria, which is the name of the city, and we are planning to start that residential academy by September. So let's hope that.
Oh, wow!
Things
so it's a new pet project that you've started recently as well, along with everything else.
To start in September. Yeah, it was supposed to start in January, but because of coronavirus again, we had to postpone it to September 2021. But we are already marketing the project and with a partner that we have in England. And the idea is to have around the first season to have around 20 to 30 players from all over the world, here from 16 to 20 years old, and giving them that also exactly the same training program that we do with our elite players from the High Performance Academy. So
is it like an exchange program?
No, it's like it's a high performance program with education program, both of them. And then it's like if you go to college abroad, let's say, we add to the college program, we add a high performance football program. Yeah, it's mainly for those players. We have a lot of players who are inquiring from US, from Canada, from Australia. Those players who maybe they want to become professionals, but they still don't find the training program in their countries to become professional, to give that last step. So then they want to join an elite academy in Spain or in Europe to go back to their countries and being able to become a professional.
So you're providing it to them. Wow. So have you collaborated with other institutions as well, or is this like a solo program?
Yes, it's our own program, Alavés International Academy, and we are working with a English partner for recruitment. They are the ones who are recruiting the players all around the world.
That's brilliant! Wow, Javier, that's brilliant, and I wish you luck for that, especially. And I would just end with the last question, which is, what has been your biggest highlight of your career?
Biggest highlight of my career. Yeah. Well, as a player, I think it was great. I had the chance to play for the Madrid state team when I was 17 years old. So that was quite a big achievement, because Madrid regional team, let's say that is almost, most of the Madrid regional team players go for the national team. So it was like, okay. So that was a big highlight for me when I was playing. And from there, I think the biggest one was when the players from Numaligarh, from Assam, got the chance to go to the national camp team. because at the end, that was what I was telling you at the beginning about the process. It was the proof that our project, and is working slowly, step by step, and doing the things properly, and taking care of the players and taking care of the program, at the end gives you it's
a fruitful outcome.
Exactly, a fruitful thing. So I think for me that was the most successful highlight of
believing in the process, like you said. I think that's one word that
especially those kids that were quite underprivileged kids, from very, very poor backgrounds, that their parents were working in tea plantations and all this, and then suddenly we sent 3 kids from there to the national camp in Kolkata. I think that was the biggest one.
I think that's rather inspiring. So when people hear this, we hope that a lot of people get inspired to know that if they believe in the process, it can be achieved for India. And we can see India as it is growing towards higher levels of every sport, I would say, since cricket is like the sport of the nation as of now. But we can slowly see football generating a lot of interest and a lot of passion. So, of course, the ultimate goal is to get at the international level. But like you said, believing in the process and taking it step by step, I think hopefully we will reach there.
To be patient.
And we need people like you also to help us do that.
Yeah, let's hope so. I wish I can be back in India very soon, in some years. In some years.
We hope so. We hope so. I don't know how we say hope so in Spanish, but in your language, we hope so.
Esperamos.
Esperamos. Okay. Excuse my accent. But thank you, Javier. Thank you so much for giving us your time and really giving us insightful information about your history and your goals. So I hope we get to another interview soon, and all the best.
Anytime. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Javier. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.